If I hadn't come across the Dharma, I'd probably be struggling to do what I was struggling to do before I did come across the Dharma, which was make writing, particularly poetry, and sometimes playing rock and roll music, the whole of my context, and it just wasn't adequate. It wasn't adequate as a young man, and I don't think even as a more experienced man it would be adequate. In theory it might be, on paper it might be, but when I've read the lives of great artists, particularly great poets, you can often see a huge gap between what Yeats described as the life and the work. And I tried very hard to make that work as a context, and it became apparent to me quite quickly that I didn't have the emotional maturity or the stability to do that. And having an explicit discourse to do with what the nature of things is like and how to live in the face of your experience of difficult things like impermanence and suffering has made a huge difference to me. And it, of course, it activated the bit of me that wanted to write poetry and live to some extent in that context. So I think the answer is I would have been struggling away at best to find a spiritual context for myself that was adequate, and I would almost certainly have failed.